Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from mychartcoach.com, and we're going to take a look at some more of the ticker symbols that were in play today. Okay, first up here, let's take a look at AMDA. Okay, this was a very nice move on Friday, closed up 23%. RSI and Fasto look good right now. Both are in the bull zone. RSI closed at 52, so there's a lot of room to run till the 70 over bot level. Fasto at 66, a lot of room to run till 80 over bot level. You've got a nice crossover here starting on ADX with plus DI crossing minus DI to the upside. The bullish move today was the close above EMA's 4, 8, and 13 and the middle Bollinger Band, or I should say the bullish close on Friday. And so that is the key level to turn into support at 0.33. If that level can hold, then a new uptrend could begin. Our next target is going to be this 50-day simple moving average at 0.36. If it can get above 36, then it could test the 100-day simple moving average, which is just above at 38. So these are the two big levels to break on Monday and for next week. If it can get above the 100-day simple moving average, then it could really push forward. It's going to need to break those levels to get a new uptrend going. There was a parabolic SAR bullish flip. Notice there was a giant volume spike, so there was really big volume behind the move, which is always good. MACD's pinched on the 12, 26, and 9. Bulls want to see a bullish crossover there, and the 8, 13, and 5 crossed over on Friday. So yeah, the chart is heating up. It just needs to turn the middle Bollinger Band into support to start a new uptrend. Okay, let's look at URG. This is another stock that made a nice move on Friday. RSI is at 59, so there's still room to run until 70. Fasto is currently in the overbought power zone. There was a bullish crossover last week on ADX. Okay, so this was heating up on Thursday, and then there was nice follow through on Friday. So that was really good to see. That this had been false alarming a lot, where it was making forming these white candles where it looked like it might get moving. It had been URG had been trying to turn this middle Bollinger Band currently at 0.552 into support, and then finally on Friday there was a break above key resistance levels. So there's a major resistance zone here. It broke above the 300, the 300-day simple moving average, the 200-day simple moving average, and the 50-day simple moving average, and then closed above the upper Bollinger Band. So that was a really powerful move. If it can stay above those levels next week, then this new uptrend should start, and then it should push higher. Our next target is going to be the 100-day simple moving average at 673. If it can close above that level, then it could potentially break out higher. Notice there was a break above this red descending resistance line, so that is the key level to turn into support. Bulls want to see this. What is this? 0.592 is the top level. If that can hold next week, if it's holding the 60 support zone, then you're looking at a potential uptrend starting here. So the good thing is there was really big volume behind the move. Notice the big volume bar. It closed strong on Friday. It did hit this previous open here on the 16th. So this is a key level to break. This is essentially a double top at this level. So it needs to break above 62 to make a run to that 67. Notice there were recent MACD bull crosses. There was a PSAR bull flip on Thursday. So all these are signals that the chart is heating up. It just needs to hold support and follow through and start a new uptrend. So let's take a look at REXX. This is in the energy sector, which has been the most beaten up sector right now. And so we've been looking at a lot of plays in that sector that we follow on a daily basis. And this is one of the plays that is starting to heat back up. What we want to see is RSI and Fasto break above 50. That would be a signal the chart is building strength. Notice there was a bullish crossover here on ADX with plus DI crossing minus DI to the upside. So there was a big pullback down here to the 280 support zone, and then on Friday there was a bullish close above EMA's 4, 8, and 13. Notice they had been resistance during this pullback, so that was the first close above that level since you have to go all the way back here basically on this candle. So the recent past highs up here at 470. So this is signaling that there's a potential bullish change in trend starting. Parabolic SAR bullish flip is confirming that. Notice this is the first time the dots have flipped below the candle since the pullback. Also check out MACD. There's already a bullish crossover last week on the 8, 13, and 5, and then the 12, 20, and 6 and 9 started crossing over on Friday on a bullish volume spike. So that's always a good sign when you're at the bottom. You like to see volume behind the move. And so basically what needs to happen on Monday is there needs to be a close above the middle Bollinger Band, currently at 3.38. If it can turn that level into support, then we're looking at our next target as the 50-day simple moving average at 380. So notice the middle Bollinger Band is lining up with this prior support level. That's where it hit high of day on Friday. So it's going to need to break above that and then turn it into support in order to make a run up to that 50-day simple moving average. The chart is heating up. If it pulls back below the EMAs, like EMA 13, if that fails to hold, then that's going to be a signal that it's not ready to go. And then if it closes back below EMAs 4 and 8, then it's once again going to become a big risk to hold because it could continue the strong downtrend. Always a risk to hold a penny stock that's forming candles below EMA 4 on the daily chart. Okay, so take a look at SFOR. SFOR is an over-the-counter stock, but it is heating up. It's in the cybersecurity sector, which has been really hot lately, and so keep an eye on it. It looks like it could possibly break resistance next week. Check out RSI and Fasto are both in the bull zone with room to run until overbought levels. Plus DI did cross ADX to the downside, so you want to see the green line cross the black line back to the upside to signal the bulls are still in control. What's going on here is there was a very tight channel. Look how for several weeks the trading range was super tight between 13 and 14, 0.013 and 0.014. And then on the 5th, on this candle, it broke out of the range. It broke out of the top of the channel. And then it made a run all the way up here, okay, to the high, which was lining up with this upper wick with the bottom of this gap. Notice there's a gap back here. This is the bottom. This is the top. And so that is going to be the key level to break after the 50-day simple moving average. Notice the green line. On this candle right here, it closed above the 50-day simple moving average. Then it pulled back, and then now it's retesting that level. And so what we want to see is a close above 0.017, and then we want to see a break above this descending resistance line, and then high close horizontal resistance at 0.18. Okay, if you can do that, then you've got 0.19 on deck, which is the bottom of the gap. That's always a big level to break. But if it does bust above that 0.19, you could see a nice push all the way up to the 0.23 range, 0.24. So there is some big upside potential for this play. You know, you could see potentially a 50% gain from the current level if it did break the bottom of the gap level and fill the gap. Okay, you know, these are all big ifs. If it fails to break the 50-day simple moving average, it'll signal that it's not ready to go yet, and it has to hold the middle Bollinger Band at 0.014 to remain in play and to have the uptrend, a potential new uptrend starting. You notice how these candles were below the middle Bollinger Band and they broke above, so we're looking at a potential new uptrend here. If it breaks below the middle Bollinger Band, it will be a risk to hold. So currently the stock is in play. It's hitting the key resistance level. We're looking for potential break above for a possible run higher next week. So keep an eye on it. There was recent MACD bull crosses, a recent PSAR bull flip. You know, you've got volume picking up. Notice how volume is increasing down here. So you notice during the consolidation period here, there was really, really light volume. So that's always what you want to see before a run. So this couple of weeks of super light volume and sideways action between 13 and 14 gave everybody a chance to get out that wanted to get out. So looking at the charts, what the charts are telling you is that all the weak hands are out, and now you have people that want to push this thing higher. Now for these OTC plays, it all depends on dilution and whether or not the company is dumping into the run, but as long as they refrain from killing the rally, a new uptrend could begin, and this could push higher. So keep an eye on it next week. Let's look at ABIL. Okay, this is another stock that you know, did really good last week, and then it pulled back on Friday. You know, closed down 25%. And so what you have to keep in mind is many times when you have a big pullback like that, a lot of people lose interest. People have, you know, attention deficit disorder when it comes to trading. You know, traders are you know, just on to many times on whatever's hot at the moment, and then they leave and then they forget about the trade. So on a play like this, that's a breakout play, that's a runner, you don't want to leave the trade. You just want to go to the sidelines when it peaks and then be looking for a re-entry level, because this type of play, because it's in a strong uptrend, has a good chance to continue higher. So if you look here, the RSI is in the 50 to 70 bull zone. It has corrected from overbought levels, so it's in the bull zone and it has room to run. And now you did have a bearish crossover here on Fasto, and it closed below 50. It needs to get back above 50, but once again, look, it corrected from 80. So now it's reset. Both of these indicators have reset, and now there's juice in the tank to push higher. And so what happened here on the charts, there was this big two-day move, and then there was a close well above the 50-day simple moving average on a big volume spike, and then notice the candles, it closed well above the upper Bollinger Band, and then on Friday, the candles worked back into the bands. Notice the upper Bollinger Band is at 111 and the close was at 105. So the candles worked their way back into the bands. It dropped down and it hit this EMA 8 support level. It broke EMA 4 and 50-day simple moving average intraday, but it held those levels and closed above. That means the chart is still super bullish. That is the level we want to see hold. We'd like to see a dollar hold. If a dollar holds on Monday, then that is going to be the reload level off of this EMA 4 and 50-day simple moving average support level if it holds. And then we're talking about a pushback up here to try to retest this high close at 140. And then if the 50-day simple moving average holds, our target's still going to be the 100-day simple moving average at 189. So if there's a drop below a dollar, then we're talking about a potential pullback where you could see EMA 8 tested, EMA 13, and then you're looking at a potential drop down to the middle Bollinger Band at 70. So you could see a big pullback if this 50-day simple moving average fails to hold. When it breaks and there's a close above, we always like to see it turn into support. It's always a big risk once there's now there's two closes above that level. If it closes back below, that's going to be a major red flag, and you want to go to the sidelines looking for a reload lower. If it holds, then that's going to signal more upside potential, and this could be a good level to load on Monday if it holds and it continues the uptrend. Okay, so keep an eye on it. This could get moving again. Notice how there was a big volume spike on the update, and then the pullback was on very light volume. That's a signal that a lot of people are still holding. And then also check out the long lower wick on Friday's candle. That shows that there were a lot of buyers off of 90, and they were able to push it all the way up to $1.05. So that shows that the bulls were pushing the share price higher during the trading day on Friday. So keep an eye on it. If you look here at the 15-minute chart, okay, so each candle on this chart represents 15 minutes of trading. You'll see it closed with super tight Bollinger Bands on Friday. Look, this is the upper Bollinger Band and the lower Bollinger Band. This chart is wound tight. It doesn't get any tighter than this, okay? So this could totally pop on Monday and break out and get running. So currently it's right at the middle Bollinger Band, which is at 106. And what we like to see is a break above the middle Bollinger Band, and then we want to see a break above 122, this 50 simple moving average. If it can break above that level, then that's going to signal this thing's ready to head higher. And then we're talking about a retest of this double top high here at 155. And so that's the big level to break, 122 currently. If it does drop below 102, it's going to test down here on this 100-day simple or 100 simple moving average at 96. Now that needs to hold if it drops below. If that breaks, you could see like on the other chart a big drop to the 70s. So just like a break of support on the daily chart could see a drop down on the middle Bollinger Band at 70. The same thing could happen on this 15-minute chart. So it needs to hold $1. That is the crucial level on this chart. And if it does and it breaks above 122, you could see this thing running on Monday. So what's a good sign is look at the very, very light volume during the trading day on Friday. Everybody that wanted to sell likely got out and took profits or whatever, or capitulated, and then there's a little bit of buying into the close. At least that's the read on the charts right now. And so there was bullish crossovers on MACD on both time frames, and there was a parabolic SAR bullish flip, and it was starting to turn the middle Bollinger Band into support. Those are all signals that the chart is heating back up. So keep an eye on it. Even though it was down 25%, it could be back in play on Monday. Okay, keep an eye on NAKD. Here's a stock that needs to get back above 50 on RSI. There was a bullish crossover on Fasto. It's now above oversold levels. Actually, here on ADX, you can see the green line is above the black and red line, showing the bulls are actually in control. Now this is another one of those dead cat bounce plays. It came down here, bounced off the bottom, and then it was struggling with this 200 and 300-day simple moving average, the red and blue lines here, and it finally broke above those, and it closed above EMAs 4, 8, and 13. So this was a really bullish close on Friday for NAKD. This close is signaling more upside potential, and it did happen on a volume spike, and there's been good volume down here at the bottom. So what we want to see on Monday is we want to see a break above the middle Bollinger Band at 194, and then a break, and then you can see here the 50-day simple moving average and the 100-day simple moving average are just above, and so it's going to be basically 213 currently is going to be the big level. You could possibly see a run from 184 up to 213. If it can bust above that level, then you're talking about about a run back up to the current recent high close at 250. But first things first, it needs to close above the middle Bollinger Band in order to start a new uptrend. With having the 50 and 100-day simple moving averages right above as huge resistance levels, this is going to be a huge zone to break. It's going to be really tough. And so if it does break that level and it closes above, that's going to be a really bullish signal that there's going to be more upside potential. As you can see back here, when there was a close above the 50-day simple moving average and it held, the share price ran from $2.20 all the way up to $3, even though it did have a big drop afterwards. But yeah, so keep an eye on it. We will see if it can break out and head higher. Once again, take a look at the 15-minute chart. This is really heated up for NAKD. Notice it's trading above the 200, the 50, the 100, and the 300-day simple moving averages. It closed above the middle Bollinger Band. What you want to see is a close above this 188 resistance zone. If it can start forming candles above 188, that's going to signal a breakout higher. If 180 fails to hold at the open on Monday, you're talking about a drop down here to potentially 170. That's where the 50 simple moving average is here. You have the 50, the 100, and the 300. If it breaks below that, then you're talking about a drop all the way down here to back down to 160 in this prior support zone. So this is looking like it wants to push up higher. Notice there's big volume behind the move. So it's trading above all the moving averages on the 15-minute chart. If you look over here at the moving averages, the top moving average is EMA 4 at 183, and it closed at 184. So as far as the 15-minute chart goes, this is as strong as it gets. So keep an eye on Naked. We're going to look for potential follow through on Monday. All right, thanks a lot for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com, and please watch our videos on our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Okay, thank you.